Hey guys, I'm Deepthi Desikan, and in this video we're going to be talking about dupes from MAC lipsticks from one brand that is Swiss Beauty. So I have lipsticks, liquid lipsticks, all of that included. I tried my best to find as many similar shades as I can. And the point of this video being that Swiss Beauty is a very affordable brand, and still till date MAC lipsticks are very popular. So there are so many similar shades in Swiss Beauty that you don't really have to buy the MAC lipsticks, and some of the formulation of Swiss Beauty lipsticks are also better. Like, they are a little bit more pigmented, more long wearing, transfer proof, and also a much more affordable price point. Now, every single time I mention this, a lot of comments I receive are like, nothing can beat a MAC lipstick. MAC lipstick is one of my absolute favorite. There's no comparison. Well, it's good, like, if you like MAC lipsticks, and if you feel like it's unbeatable, if you feel like there's nothing in the market that's similar to that, that's up to you. But my job is to always find affordable alternatives for people who are on a budget, people who don't really like to spend 2,000 plus rupees for just a lipstick bullet, and people who in general are looking to, like, save money. And there are a lot of people who really like Swiss Beauty lipsticks. This video is for them exclusively. So yeah, let's get started with the video. So the first one from MAC we have is called Burning Love. This is their Powder Kiss lipstick. This is a very deep purplish pink kind of a shade. Now, to be honest, from Swiss Beauty, I don't really have an exact match. I have something that is quite similar. Like, it's a 95% match. It's not a 100% dupe. This one is in the shade Burgundy, and this one is their non-transfer waterproof. This one is a non-transfer lipstick, okay? So the Swiss Beauty one has a little bit more pink. It doesn't have as much purple as MAC does. Like, when you look at it from afar, it looks similar, but if I were to come really close, you can of course spot a difference. I'm just being 100% honest with you guys right here. The next one that we have is from MAC, which is called Sin. The closest one from Swiss Beauty is again their non-transfer lipstick in the shade Brown Maroon. I feel like Swiss Beauty is a tad bit deeper, but you can't really tell, like, unless you look really close. Of course, the Swiss Beauty formulation, is a lot more long wearing. It's a lot more pigmented and much more comfortable on my lips than MAC for sure. Next up, we have the shade called Taupe, which is a very popular shade, and I feel like the Swiss Beauty one is much better in terms of pigmentation, lasting power, and the finish itself. It's a little bit of like a comfortable matte finish, as opposed to Taupe, which though claims to be a matte lipstick, has a little bit of sheen and not enough pigmentation for my pigmented lips. Next up, we have another very popular shade, which is called MAC Whirl, and the dupe for that is from the Swiss Beauty CRAZE Duo lip color. This one is in the shade Chocoholic. This other lighter side is the dupe for MAC Whirl. The deeper shade is a dupe for another MAC lipstick, which I'll show you in just a bit, but this is how both the shades look like side by side. The next dupe that I have is completely different in terms of formulation, but they are similar shades. This one is MAC Verve, which is a satin lipstick. Of course, it's a little bit sheeny and doesn't have as much pigmentation as this one does. This is the Swiss Beauty lip crayon in the shade Coffee. This is their older shade, like the older formulation. I've heard that the shade is completely changed. This is what it looks like on my lips side by side. Of course, Swiss Beauty is a lot more pigmented, lot more matte in terms of formulation, and it is actually a little bit of a transfer proof lip crayon that is long wearing. Now, this Swiss Beauty lip crayon in Coffee is also a dupe to the MAC Powder Kiss lipstick in the shade Kinda Sorta. Kinda Sorta is similar to Verve, but in a more slightly matte version of it, like a comfortable matte version of it. So even MAC has dupes within their own range of lipsticks. So in different finishes, they have similar looking shades. So this is also a dupe to Kinda Sorta, if in case you wanted to pick it up. The next one we have is the MAC Powder Kiss lip blur stick in the shade Over the Taupe. Now, these are not my favorite formulations actually, because I feel like, it's not enough for my pigmented lips, but of course they are a lot more comfortable than your typical drying matte lipsticks. I like the Powder Kiss liquid lipsticks, but I don't really like this kind of formulation, or even the bullet lipstick. A shade similar to that is one of my favorite shades. This one is a Swiss Beauty non-transfer lipstick in the shade Spice Nude, which is a beautiful nude shade, much more pigmented, much more brown than the MAC lipstick. Like, they are similar shades, but because of the pigmentation, this one stands out. It looks a little bit different. Next up, we have another very popular shade called Twig, which is a little bit of a pinky nude shade, which doesn't suit my skin tone. And a dupe from Swiss Beauty we have is their Matte Cat lip crayon in the shade Flattering Peach. This lip crayon again is not my favorite formulation. It is not as pigmented as their other lip crayon, and it goes on a little bit waxy, but the shade is very similar. Next up, we have one of my all-time favorite shades, which is called Paramount, and like I mentioned, the dupe for that is from that same Swiss Beauty CRAZE Lip Crayon Duo, and this is in the shade Chocoholic. So the other side is a dupe for MAC Paramount. Also another shade that is very similar to Paramount from Swiss Beauty is this one in the shade Natural Coco. This one is their matte lipstick. This one is like really affordable, but I don't really like the formulation of this. I feel like you have to tug and pull on it a little bit, and also it smells really like waxy and cheap. But if you're okay with it and you like other shades from this range, you've already tried it out and you don't really mind it, you can try this out. I personally am not a very big fan of this particular range from Swiss Beauty. Next up is my all-time favorite shade, which is called Retro, and the dupe I have for that is from the Swiss Beauty CRAZE Duo Lip Color. This one is in the shade Ultimate Nude. So one of the shade is similar to Retro. Retro is a little bit more brighter. It's a very beautiful shade actually, and it is a little bit unique if you actually look at it. Like, it's a little bit of pink, it has a little bit of red, but the closest I could get from Swiss Beauty is this shade. And also swatching another very popular shade from Swiss Beauty against Retro, this is Mauve Taupe, which is almost exactly the same shade. It's just that the formulation of this one is much different. It is more matte and it is a little bit more pigmented, so you can't really see that it's kind of similar. So Retro is a satin finish, Mauve Taupe is more of a matte finish, but I love this shade Mauve Taupe, and it's a very popular shade for a reason. So the other side of the Swiss Beauty CRAZE Duo in Ultimate Nude variant is a similar shade to MAC Mocha. MAC Mocha, of course, is a little bit more peachy. Swiss Beauty is a little bit more pink. They're not 100% match, but they are very similar shades. I also have another almost identical dupe to MAC Mocha, which is the Swiss Beauty Matte Cat Lip Crayon in the shade Fig-Mauve. This is again a very similar shade. Of course, the formulation is a little bit different. I feel like the Swiss Beauty one is a little bit more matte and a little bit more pigmented than MAC lipstick in Mocha, which is a satin finish. And then we have the MAC Amplified Cream Lipstick in the shade Dallas, which is similar to Matte Cat Lip Crayon in the shade Wild Rose. And then one of my first ever MAC lipsticks, Girl About Town, which is a very purple toned pink shade, which is not my favorite right now. And a shade similar, not very close, is the Matte Cat Lip Crayon in the shade Flamingo. It doesn't have as much purple lilac hint to it, but it's a very similar shade. And then we have one of my favorite kind of browns, which is like a warm brown shade, which is called Consensual, which is a matte lipstick. And a dupe is from Swiss Beauty HD matte lipstick. This one is in the shade Coffee. Like, if you swatch them on hand or just look at the bullet, they look very different, but on the lips they are very similar. They're like warm brown shades, deep dark grungy brown shade. And then we have everybody's favorite shade, which is not my favorite. This is MAC Meher, and a shade similar to that is Melodrama from Swiss Beauty. You can see it's very similar, pale lilac looking pink on me. Next up, a very bright pink shade. I can't believe I used to like these kind of shades. This one is MAC Relentlessly Red. This is their retro matte lipstick, which can be drying, and because it's a very bright shade, can also be very patchy. Exactly similar shade is Loud Pink from Swiss Beauty. The next one we have is MAC Ruby Woo, and a similar shade. I wouldn't say this is very similar from Swiss Beauty is in the shade Blood Red. Just that I feel like it has a little bit more of an orangish, you know, neon orange hint to it, but on the lips you can't really make out. But if you look at it in the tube, you'll be like, is this really like similar to Ruby Woo? But I feel like on the lips you can't really make out. But Ruby Woo, it has a little bit more pink and a little bit of a cooler undertone to it. Not going to deny that. And also another shade very similar to Ruby Woo is from HD Matte range. This one is in the shade Fresh Red. Next up we have All Fired Up, and for that we have the Matte Cat Lip Crayon in the shade Sinful Scarlet, which are very similar shades. Next up we have the MAC Powder Kiss lipstick in the shade Turn to the Left, which is a very like dark brownish reddish kind of a shade. And a shade similar is from this brown packaging, which is called Dark Brown, and this one is a little bit of a sheeny formulation. It's not as matte as the other non-transfer lipstick is, so just keep that in mind. And this also smells a little funky, you know, it smells like fish tank. The same shade in a much deeper and a much more pigmented version is Swiss Beauty HD matte lipstick in the shade Wine Blush. If you wanted this shade a little bit more intense, try out Wine Blush. And then of course we have MAC Diva, and the shade that is quite similar but not an 100% match is Murphy Brown. Diva has a little bit more of like a you know, pinkish berry hints to it, whereas Murphy Brown is of course a little bit more brown, but quite similar shades, you know. And then we have MAC Mull It Over, and a similar shade is called Tangerine Buff from Swiss Beauty. And then now moving on to some of the liquid lipsticks that I own. The MAC Locked Kiss Ink liquid lipstick in the shade Mischief. The dupe is the matte lip liquid lipstick in the shade Real Nude. This liquid lipstick from MAC is one of my absolute favorite formulation. It's very long wearing, very comfortable, very lightweight, but it's not very pigmented. Some of the lighter shades, especially like the shade in Mischief, but the Swiss Beauty one is a little bit more pigmented, but it's also very comfortable and quite long wearing. And then we have the MAC Retro Matte liquid lipstick in the shade Carnivorous, and a dupe that is similar to that is from Swiss Beauty, the liquid lipstick in the shade Wine Me. As you guys can see, it is very similar. Next up we have the shade called Dance With Me, and a shade similar from Swiss Beauty is called Passionate Red. The last shade that we have is called MAC Feel So Grand, and a dupe is Lover Boy Red. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Do let me know if you want me to like do this one brand lipstick dupes for any other brand or any other affordable brand that is similar to a lot of high-end lipsticks. Just let me know in the comments down below and I will continue doing this. And while you're at it, give this video a big thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel and make sure to hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a new video. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.